I'm Deepa. I'm a dance movement therapist, and this is for the Quarantine and Chill campaign by Lionise. Very glad to be a part of this, and I'm going to take you through some ways we can take care of our mental health amidst the pandemic and quarantine, using our body, mind, movement interconnectedness. Dance therapy is a form of psychotherapy. It brings in the embodiment and body-based element into addressing mental health needs and goals, addressing relationship well-being concerns, as well as psychological distresses. I do just that at my clinic danceformentalhealth.com in Mumbai and online. Emotions have been all over the place from the start of this pandemic as well as quarantine. There could be emotions of sadness, grief, that we may be experiencing in some way due to all the losses that are around us. Loss of sense of safety, loss of certainty, loss of structure, and loss of connection, loss of people who are being impacted directly by the virus itself. All these losses can bring in a sense of grief. Grief takes us with it. It's something that we can't fight, but it's something we can only give in to and go with the flow. And it's important we allow ourselves to grieve in this period with as less judgment as possible as to if we deserve to grieve or not based on our losses. Our losses can be big or small compared to others, but it's still important we acknowledge our feelings about it. Grief can bring about some denial, some moments of bargaining, some anger, rage, unexplainable sadness and tears, as well as moments of acceptance and meaning making. Why is this happening? All right, it is happening, so maybe I can adapt in these ways. Another thing with grief and in anticipation of what all we might lose or what all might happen is this element of anticipatory grief and fear, which can make us anxious and keep us in anxiety circles and loops of constant hygiene practices, seeking news constantly, or having shallow breath, racing mind, sleeplessness, fatigued body, and so many other ways anxiety shows up. And it's important to note that any prior experience we have with mental health, moods, emotions, etc. could also be amplifying and coming to the forefront at this time. I'm going to teach a quick body-based nuska, like a trick that we can do if we find ourselves in anxiety or any intense emotional space that is taking us away from the present. 2 steps. Step 1, we will identify and shift our posture to step into the present. Step 2, we will activate our senses to engage in the present. So step 1, when you catch yourself in any spirals, see if you're sitting, standing, walking around, maybe lying down. Notice your posture almost as if you're viewing yourself from an external place, and then shift your posture. If you're sitting, maybe you sit in a different way or stand. If you're standing, maybe you change the way you stand. If you're moving around, maybe you change the direction of your movement. And if you're lying down, maybe you roll into another position. So identify, shift your posture to engage the senses. We can engage the senses doing a simple count of 4, and we can focus on 4 senses to keep it simple. Sense 1 is touch. So just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we're just squeezing, sense of touch. Step 2, we are going to breathe in and out to identify any smell around us. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Breathe in, looking for some smell or thinking of a fragrance from earlier in the day. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, sense of vision. Look around the space outside of your screens to name 4 things that you see around you. Book, bag, chair, cupboard, chair, bag, book. Finally, taking a few gulps, maybe even drinking water if we can, to activate that sense of taste. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's it. With the quarantine and the lockdown, our sense of time and rhythm and structure have been challenged for good. In such times, again, two things are what we can do. One is to allow ourselves to mess up with our schedule, and to not be too harsh on ourselves if it is happening. Even the best yogis, people with a lot of control on their mind, are succumbing to this lack of structure at this time, as I see around people, among all of us. So it's only natural that we give in and go with the flow. Step two, when an external sense of structure or rhythm is missing, how can we tune into our body rhythm, our body needs to keep that structure for us? By constantly checking in and seeing when are we feeling hungry, are we feeling sleepy, are we feeling tired, and listening, paying attention, and responding in whatever way you can to these needs. Talk about productivity. First off, with any amount of grief, anxiety, and just the survival mindset that we are in right now, it is hard to focus and concentrate on productivity. Well, that was just my alarm that went off to do something that I haven't been doing in many weeks now. So that says a lot about productivity. But again, the same thing about self-compassion and allowing ourselves to mess up if we are not able to keep up with all the things we have to do. And communicating any amount of extra time, extra space you need to produce whatever deadlines, whatever work that you're having to do for someone. And if that is not the case, and we are making productivity goals for ourselves, to really think about, it's okay to ask myself these things if I want to, but to not beat myself up if I'm not able to attend to them. Because the truth is, our energy is divided amongst other emotional processes at this time that are happening internally, that are happening without our awareness even. So just let's take a chill pill on productivity. When you're working from home, one silly idea that works for me is, if you have set starting and ending times for when you're going to be working from home, to get dressed as the internet is asking you to, and go for a walk from within the house, go for a walk from point A to point B by walking around, jogging around, jumping around the house and coming back. And when you finish work, you pack your stuff up, put them away, and walk back to the idea of home. Now, coming home is been meaning different things to all of us all this time, and I just want to name that. We could be feeling isolated or lonely at home. We could be feeling irritable or frustrated at home, or we could be feeling safe and calm at home. Wherever you are, again, get in touch with your sense of what your body is saying. If you require more space and energy, allow yourself to take personal space and define your personal space from people around you or for yourself. And you can engage in any repetitive arts-based or emotional expression kind of activities in that personal space to dwell in it. And you can set boundaries with people by using eye language, and setting boundaries in these times is difficult, especially if there are people around us in our faces all the time. So even in such attempts to be patient, as things are going, as things are working or not. All right, these are some of the million things that are happening to us that I covered. And there might be more very unique to your situation, as unique as you are as a person. I'll just leave you with a little nudge saying, pay attention to your mental health, to your bodies, to what they're asking, listening to them, and responding to them in the best way possible. There is a lot of mental health support available out there, especially in these times, and I hope you are able to seek it if you need it.